What's going on, NBA fanatics? This is your friendly neighborhood Memphis Grizzlies, home of Memphis X, and I talk hoops. Today, we are talking about a narrow loss in overtime to the New Orleans Pelicans. But first, every hero needs their theme music.
Piano.
Grizz gang, go hard. Baddest in the game, we be on one. I talk hoops so secure. All up on the court, but we gon' score. Memphis bringing heat straight from Tennessee. Jaren spiking, let's go for he that MVP.
This is Memphis X with iTalkHoops. While you are here, please like this video, subscribe to my channel, and hit the bell to be notified every time I drop a video. I have a goal to reach 3,000 subscribers by the playoffs, and I'm going to need your help to get there. Thank you. Well, it was a back-to-back on the road in New Orleans against a team desperate for a win to try and get into the top six of the playoff picture. And the Grizzlies were shorthanded. No Ja Morant, no Luke Kennard, no Xavier Tillman. Of course, still no Steven Adams. No Brandon Clark, no Jake LaRavia, no Zaire Williams. But Dillon Brooks was back. And, of course, the Grizzlies fall to the New Orleans Pelicans 138-131 in overtime. And they got in overtime with a very inexplicable finish. But the Grizzlies were up 19 in this game and gave up a big lead. Just that offense got stagnant there late in this game, and the Pelicans had an out-of-body shooting experience. Herb Jones, 5 of 8 from 3. C.J. McCollum, 6 of 9. Trey Murphy, 7 of 13. And this was basically a product of the Grizzlies playing so many young guys. Kennedy Chandler played, David Roddy, Kenny Lofton. So they're three top guys off the bench. Three of their top four guys off the bench were rookies. And that's not even counting Santi Aldama, left the game early, only played 7 minutes with a hyperextended elbow. Larry Nance tried to rip his elbow off in a very dirty play. But the highlights of this game were Jaren Jackson, of course, Desmond Bane, of course, and Dillon Brooks. Tyus Jones also had a good game, 13 points, 12 assists, 4 steals. But Jaren Jackson was the star of the night. 40 big points, 13 of 28 from the field, 3 of 9 from three-point line, 11 of 12 from the free throw line, 9 rebounds, 3 assists, 1 steal, 4 blocks. He is just really, really coming into his own as a player in this league, a two-way player in this league, one of the very few that might have the claim of being elite, or at least very good. He's elite defensively, and he might be a very good, and it's an outside chance he can be a 25-point-per-game scorer. And let me tell you something, a guy who can be the defensive player of the year and give you 25 points per game is an MVP candidate. I don't care how you wrap it up. Jaren Jackson, still very, very young. As we all know, Jaren Jackson is just 23 years old. Won't turn 24 until September. So he's a very young player. And to put that in perspective, he's younger than Herb Jones. So, that gives you some perspective of how young Jaren Jackson is. But, yeah, the Grizzlies really, their perimeter defense kind of left them last night. Desmond Bane had a good game again. 24 points, 5 assists, 4 rebounds, 9 of 21, 4 of 5 from the free throw line, 2 of 8 from the three-point line. His shot was off early in the game, even though he was getting some good looks. That tend to happen to him sometimes. His shot's off, but his game is never off. Dillon Brooks had 5 of 8 from 3, so he kind of matched Herb Jones in the unlikely shooting scenario. Herb Jones was also 8 of 9 from the free throw line. Herb Jones had 35 points. Good Lord, 35 points. The Grizzlies were severely undermanned, but it was a good performance. It was a good one of those eye-opening performances that gives you a look and you like, wait a minute, there's no Zion Williamson. Wait a minute, there's no Jose Alvarado. Those are the two guys that really give the Grizz any kind of problems. Of course, B.I. is his own problem, by itself. He's the one that really closed them down the stretch. But the rest of these guys, nah, not worried. Not worried when the Grizzlies are at full strength. And if they mess around and get Steven Adams back, But, yeah, the issue for them is Jonas Valanciunas is not a playoff player. He is not going to be a playoff player. He is the most stubborn MFer you'll ever get to see. He refuses to do things right defensively. I mean, just flat out refuses, does not learn, does not come out, does not get his body in position defensively, will not come out and challenge three-pointers. He's just not going to do it. It was the one thing that used to get me frustrated with him as a Grizzly. He just I would know. The coaches would call a timeout, reinforce what the game plan was and what he needs to do. And then the next time after the timeout, he still wouldn't do it. And that's why they got his ass up out of Memphis. And that's why the Pelicans have so many struggles defensively, or they have these stretches where they can lose 9 or 10 in a row, shit like that, because you just have guys that refuse to do the right thing. So, like I said, the next game is against Milwaukee. I don't think either team's going to have anything to play for at that point. So your guess is as good as mine as who actually plays in that game. So there's no really reason to preview it or anything. It might not even be a reason to talk about it afterwards because the Bucks have wrapped up the best record in the league. Chris Middleton already went out with an injury in his last game. Giannis is probably going to be shut down until the playoffs. Drew Holiday probably going to get shut down until the playoffs. But the Bucks have a formidable, gritty, defensive-minded bench with a lot of playoff scars on them. So they will not be an easy rollover target regardless of who plays or who doesn't play. So it should be an interesting game, but I don't expect it to be too eye-opening for us. And, of course, the Grizzlies will be finishing out the season in Oklahoma, at Oklahoma City against the Thunder. And I don't know if the Thunder will have anything to play for at that time. They are still trying to get to the play-in game. At this point, they are, I think, in the 10th spot. Are they in the 10th spot still? Yeah, they're still in the 10th spot, but they're tied with Dallas at 38 and 42. So we don't know which way that goes. Yeah. So, hey, it is what it is. Glad to have this regular season winding down. Tomorrow we will take a better look at the playoff picture after some games tonight, but we will take a better look at the playoff picture and how it's shaping up for your Memphis Grizzlies. Peace.